Hi everyone, welcome to the Walk Life. I am Will and this is my playground. For this video, we're going to make 3-cup chicken or Taiwanese basil chicken or sanbeiji. Why am I choosing this one? Well, this probably is one of the earliest dish I learned how to make. I remember in 4th grade, I had a neighbor who owns a restaurant up in the mountains who specialized in free-range chickens, and this is how I learned it. And ever since then, I love making this dish. Definitely a signature dish, and that's why first video going on camera with this dish. I often also make this to impress friends or impress a date. I think this is also one of the dishes that I made first time for my, well, now fiance. Okay, let's get started. What we have here is this is chicken thigh, skin on, deboned. Usually 3-cup chicken will have bone in because it actually adds a little bit more flavor to it. When I was younger, I found it a bit tedious to eat with bones in there. And now I'm making it without bones because it's also a bit easier to make when it can cook a little bit more evenly. When you have the bones, sometimes if you don't control the heat too well, then you might get skin, or so the outside becomes overcooked while the bone, around the bone is still undercooked. Okay, so we're going to start with the wok here. It's a little bit it's a bit too hot. I'm gonna turn down a little bit. You want just about medium heat because that way you will have time for the chicken. You know, I keep the skin on. You can get rid of it if you don't like, and you can skip this step. You can absolutely also use chicken breasts as well. Oh, look at that sizzle. I don't know if you can, well, I guess you can see it, but also just hear that sizzle and just really using the medium heat, that way it can let the skin to really render the fat. So now, since I've gone in there, it's a little bit too low. You also don't want it to go too low because if it's too low, then it will start to steam the chicken instead of rendering the fat. All right, so while the chicken thigh is making its way, getting cooked, we can prepare the aromatic. Let's start with ginger, chili, and garlic. So before we go on, let's actually talk about what is 3-cup. 3-cup is 3 main ingredients that definitely go into this dish. That's a flavor profile for this dish. And you can literally 3-cup anything. 3-cup tofu, 3-cup squid, also very common. But the 3-cup of main ingredients are soy sauce, rice wine, and sesame oil. So these will be the 3-cup flavor, and most importantly, going with Thai basil. Thai basil is a bit spicier, less floral, less sweet than the Italian basil. But if you want to get Italian in the pinch, that's fine as well, if you just don't and cannot find Thai basil. I actually found mine in the garden. We got the seedling from Home Depot, and I think you can get it from Lowe's as well. And you just plant them, a couple weeks later, you got your Thai basil. So let's prepare our aromatic. We'll start with ginger. I like the big fatty ones, so you can thinly slice them. These are actually very good because, you know, it's not just aromatics, you can eat them. It will really soak up the flavor really, really well. So I like to thinly slice them very, very nicely. If you can't get it that thinly sliced, that's okay as well. Put it aside. For the garlic, just give it a little smash. We're going to peel it, but we're not going to mince or anything like that. We're gonna keep it whole. So a little smash. Then you can get rid of the skin. You can peel it off very easily. And the chili I'm using for this dish is actually a Californian chili. It's a lot easier to find here in California. Well, probably because it's California. And it's not very spicy. This is not a spicy dish. I'm gonna say that again. This is not a spicy dish. So you want just a little bit for the flavor, but you don't want the heat to really overwhelm the dish. Oh, this is really annoying. Let's try again. There we go. Comes off a lot easier. So the garlic is ready. Put it aside. And then we're going to slice the chili. If you really don't like any heat at all, you can skip this part and just not have any chili at all if you want. But love the chili, love the color. I have chili growing in the garden. I also have them frozen in the freezer so I can have it all year round. And what I would do is keep half. Stir fry half of it and keep the other half. But one chili is really enough. Again, we're not going for very spicy here. Just checking on the chicken. The skin is nice and crispy. We can go a little bit longer. Let's check on the chicken. We want to make sure the skin is nice and golden. When it's about ready, we can go and take it out. Look at all that chicken fat, goodness. We are going to drain it, but don't toss it. I think chicken fat is definitely great to use for any other usage. We'll just put it aside for now. You can use it to fry vegetables and really give it nice flavor. I use it almost like how I use bacon fat. But now we're gonna introduce our first cup, which is a little bit of sesame oil, medium heat again. It's gonna, because the wok has been really hot, so it's gonna keep going. And we're gonna go in with the gingers. So you really want it to spread it out, the pan, quite a bit, so it really has a chance to char quite nicely. Okay. When you see the edge of the ginger slices start to char, it's time for the garlic to go in. And just let it cook at a medium heat. While that's doing its own thing, actually I'm gonna just supply with a little bit of sesame oil. I'm going to do is slice up the chicken. As you can see, they're still pink. They're definitely not cooked all the way through. I like to keep them big, chunky slices so it really has the bite when you're eating them. Let's check on the aromatic. It looks great. The ginger is nice and charred. We're gonna put in a little bit of just half the chili, just so it doesn't lose all its color later. Okay. And while doing that, we're gonna have some rock sugar. If you don't have rock sugar, that's fine. You can certainly use just cane sugar, and that would do. What it would do is it will give the chicken a really nice coat that can grab onto chili, the soy sauce, and also gives a really, really nice sheen. Okay, now the chicken goes back in. We do want to crank the heat back up again. So while it's hot, what we're going to do is add the soy sauce. You want to add it at the edge of the pan, so it really gets a little bit of caramelized taste. I love to call this the soy burn. So about 1, 2. Give it a nice stir. As you can see, the sugar is caramelizing and just let the color really coat onto the chicken quite nicely. And this time we're gonna add in the last ingredient of the 3 cup, which is the rice wine. Also along the edge a little bit. I'm just gonna let it stew here for a bit so the flavor really combines together. When the liquid is almost done, almost gone, what we can do is add the rest of the chilies in there and also half of the basil. I'm gonna give it a little stir. Just mix it in. The basil is just smells so good. There's nothing better than fresh basil. And what we're going to do is put it in a clay pot. Traditionally, it's always served in a clay pot or in a metal pot with that. But if you don't have it, you just want to have it in a regular dish, that's also as well. A little bit of the sesame oil, just a little bit of rice wine going in there. Hot, very hot. And what we're going to do is have a little bit of basil at the bottom. So it's all ready. And the rest of the chicken can go in. And that's it. You can put the rest of the basil on top as a garnish, but let's first have a taste. I'm just gonna use a tongue. I'm in the kitchen, I'm only one, who cares? The good balance of the soy sauce, the sesame oil, the aromatics goes in there. Still nice and tender. That's why I love cooking with chicken thigh, because it's just much easier to manage and control. I'm gonna finish this. Thanks.